Hello. The first thing you all got to hear was Rachel go, "Oh."
You guys are going live real shortly. I
Yeah.
didn't think you meant
I
like
did mean
now.
right away.
Oh, Jesus. So
You know I don't give countdowns. I'm not a good stream operator. Hi everyone. It's me, Elyse. I am so excited to share this with you tonight. Oh, Chelsea wrote a poem for us, which is so
Oh
sweet
my
because
god.
Chelsea, you're amazing.
oh,
Our overlay is so very gay.
yes, it's so
I
cute.
love it.
I love it. Galway. Yes, last night I was like, so Galway. I may have dreamed up quite literally a mini one-shot system, and then I may have written it in like fevered hours of a frenzied writing. And he's like, I may love where this is going. And I was like, we might play test it tomorrow on stream. And he was like, I have the perfect background. I was like, yes. So, the plan is for tonight mostly is just going to feature us talking to each other about the system. So it's just going to be our faces on stream. And then next week, now that we kind of like know who the players are and like what their characters will be and everything, we might have a kind of more complete overlay so that you can have like pronouns and names and everything on the overlay, assuming all of that works out timing wise. But this is what this is, I mean, more than I had hoped given the fact that it was like 10 o'clock last night. And I was like, hey, this is crazy. But so yes, big thanks, shout out to Galway for enthusiastically supporting this idea and creating this, and to all of the rest of you for showing up to watch it. You're great. And for the players who are here with me tonight. So let's do introductions real quick. My name is Elyse. Normally this time slot we stream Spire, which I GM, but since we have one of our main Spire players is out for 2 weeks, and another one of our players is out tonight. And so we have decided to take a 2 week hiatus on Spire, but that doesn't mean we have to take a 2 week hiatus on playing or sleep. You know, we could do things like sleep and rest with our lives, but here we are playtesting a TTRPG that I wrote in a fit of inspired sleepiness. So, yeah, we're just going to go for it. So, I'd love for everyone to introduce themselves. We don't have characters to introduce to you, though, because we're going to make those on stream today. But our special guest today, not normally one of our Spire players, but so happy to have Heather with us. So, Heather, will you please introduce yourself first?
Yep. Hi, I'm Heather. She, her pronouns. I guess I usually play in Tier Moontree. And I'm really excited to be here. This is going to be so much fun. So, and I think I'm going to point up this way to Sam. They're actually at the same.
Yay. Okay. Hi everyone. My name is Sam. I also use he, him pronouns. And normally I'm playing Eric Sharmuza on Spire, but today I don't know who I'm playing. Yay. And I'm going to pass it to this way over to Sarah.
I am Sarah. My pronouns are she, her, hers. And today I'm going to be playing a person who is learning how to play a game. This way to Rachel.
hi, I'm Rachel, and I'm also eating, so sorry. And I use she, her, hers pronouns, and that's all I know.
Yes, thank you so much. And I would love to read Chelsea's poem real quick since we do have one, which is so sweet. So it says, Big excite for this surprise playtest. Such a fun concept and the players are the best. Will this game be anything but joy and delight? It's for sure gonna be the highlight of my night. Thank you, goats, for your amazing selves and for all that you do. Much love. I can see and hear you. Yay! I would clap, but I have push to talk.
Also, I need to say it on stream, but happy 1 year goat anniversary, Chelsea.
Yay!
Yay! Happy 1
Yep.
year anniversary.
This night last year, I definitely slept.
Mhm.
Anyway.
Interesting. You were filing your taxes.
Oh yeah, that's what was happening.
Okay. So other helpful goat stuff, you can hit that exclamation point merch, exclamation point Discord to find out about our merch and Discord. I can't wait to get a Goats and Stoats t-shirt or something, or a Sheer Moon Tree
Mine's been
City
shipped.
mug, because it's real cool and I definitely don't need more mugs, but I need that mug in my life. So, and tomorrow we are playing Sheer Moon Tree Isle, so Rachel and Heather and Sam will all be there, and I will be there, and a few others to play Moontree Isle at 7 Mountain Time, 9 Eastern. I did the thing. Uh, Next week at about 6:30, Spire again won't be happening, but this will be because we're going to play the game next week. But before that, Rachel's going to do the GMing of Goats of Saltmarsh at 7 on Wednesday.
And they're going to have an actual thing to go do. I swear.
Ooh, there's an actual thing to go do.
Mhm.
Excellent. So yeah, you can hang out with us and do all of those things and find out more in our Discord, follow us on Twitter, things like that. Cool. I think. Oh yeah, and use exclamation point donate to get. We like to highlight causes that are important to us, and I think we're currently still highlighting um, organizations that are striving to end or work against, I suppose is a better way to say, systems of racism, especially those against Asian American Pacific Islander communities. So please check out those links, places where you can learn some things, inform yourself about some things, and also donate if you have the funds and the time to donate. Okay, is there anything else before, like, just like the housekeeping things?
I can't think of anything, but I think we might be doing something. There's a joke there about the title of never mind.
Anything but okay. Well, with that, let's just let's play anything but, or let's start. So there is a link in the Discord and in the Twitch chat that's on like an auto, and I think you can use exclamation point anything but also to trigger it. And the thanks, Chelsea. Elyse, so dreamy. Yeah, but you can look at the rules as we go. You can check them out. You can read them. I'd love to hear your feedback if you join our Discord. You are most welcome to send me thoughts and ideas, because this is, it was written 2 days ago, so it definitely needs some playtesting and some ideas. So I would love to hear what you're thinking. And as it says in the thing that Sam wrote for it, if you would like to read along and make characters with us, you are most welcome to, because we will be character designing on stream today, because that is part of the process of playing. Yeah, so let's start. Okay, so I feel like this is going to be kind of weird of just like me talking for a while, but because I need to introduce the system, and it feels very strange to not be like, and now the players will do something.
You could make us say something.
Yeah, okay. Well,
About
Heather, go ahead.
Okay, that backfired. Okay. And I don't have it pulled up, but so there's the characters are going to be kind of stereotypical. So like things like a jock or a ditzy blonde or cranky grandma. And we're going to be designing kind of powers for each of them. But the idea then is that whatever setting they're going to be thrown into, that we can't be players that fit in that setting. So the example that Elyse gave us is if we were on a pirate ship in the middle of the ocean, we can't be any kind of sailor. We can't be pirates. We can't be someone that knows how to sail. We have to be
A
somebody that
jock,
doesn't
a ditzy
fit.
blonde, or a cranky grandma, or a
Yeah,
wizard. Yes, exactly.
anything something
Anything
that
but
fits.
a sailor or a pirate, or yes, hence the name anything but.
Yeah.
Thanks, Heather. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the base concept is exactly that. That the GM kind of gets to pick a one of these kind of archetypical or stereotypical settings where a lot of stories get told in those settings, and the players then cannot play the characters who you would typically see in that setting. So you can be anything but what fits for that setting. And so the there have been some really funny ideas thrown about for like how those things can match up. Like one of the setting ideas that I wrote into the system, which if you're looking, you can see, or I think it's under plot ideas. It's like, throw the best prom this high school has ever seen. Okay, but and then Sarah was like, throw the best prom, but we're all pirates. And it's like, exactly, right? Throw the best prom, but you're all pirates. Or you're, wizards like Gandalf, coming from Middle Earth, and then you're stuck in throwing the best prom. And so, yeah, there's lots of potential for really absurd mix and matches. And just from having the players and people who have already had their eyes on it kind of like throw their ideas into the mix, there's so many things that I haven't even thought of that I'm just really excited to hear. So, oh, yes, Rachel's hair does look amazing.
Yeah, I watched it.
And got it cut.
Oh yeah, that too. That too.
Mine is getting cut on Wednesday next week.
Yeah.
It will have been about a year and a half. So, anyway,
Yeah, it's just I was in the 22-month club and I cut off well over a foot, and I was just like,
nice.
please be gone.
Yep. Good digression. Okay. So with that, there are other mechanics. The basic mechanic of the game is rolling dice, so it's very kind of typical in that regard. Use a d6. That's 50-50 success failure, with sixes being critical successes, ones being critical failures. And then there are things that can grant players an extra d6 to roll. So every character not only gets 3 abilities that the players design. So like once a player picks an archetype, the jock, they'll design 3 abilities for that jock, and then also tag their archetype with 3 tags. 2 can be positive attributes, and one should be a negative attribute. And those are like areas that we're claiming are in archetype, right? So a jock is strong, a jock is competitive, a jock is, for the stereotype, a dumb jock, right? So we might say not very smart, as it's negative. But when you act in accordance to those tags, you get to add a d6 so you're rolling 2d6, basically advantage, similar to the advantage mechanic in D&D. So, and then there are certain things that are against archetype that the players should also kind of identify a few traits that are against archetype from the get-go, which the players should kind of treat as like they can't use those. It's not like a hard and fast, like absolutely your character can never do actions that fit this tag. But if they do, like it's against their archetype, right? It goes against their nature to do this, and when they do it, they're most likely going to get a penalty imposed on their roll. And yes. So characters or players have to they have to pick their archetype, then they design their 3 abilities. Then they pick their 3 tags that are in archetype and choose a few that are against archetype. And also can pick 3 starting equipment that match their archetype. So a knight might start with a sword, a shield, and armor. So you can kind of pick 3 starting equipment, and you and the GM, which is me, we would work out as we go kind of what those starting equipment can do. So like, a sword might be able to deal 3 damage, right? And that's straightforward enough. But then we also have to decide like, okay, armor means you can roll with advantage to resist something, or, whatever it might be. So let's see. And then you play the game. There are other
Hey.
things. There's like a whole system of like Doom, which we probably won't really get into tonight, because that's like when you're actually playing, that's what kind of advances the plot and kind of serves as like a pressure pressure for the characters. So there's like setting Doom, which I manage, and is like the overall, like as that gets closer to 0, the kind of end conditions or like finale is approaching, right? So like players are under pressure to act quickly or to retreat doom to like make it less pressing. And then character doom, which is like as their character advances their own doom, gets closer to zero, then it can have a lot of different types of effects. So
Is this Doom like Eldritch Horror Doom?
yeah, very similar. It's definitely like the idea of like advancing and retreating doom, very similar to how Eldritch Horror uses that mechanic. So except that there's not just the world doom, but also character doom.
Yeah.
But there's no HP or anything. You're not keeping track of hit points. It's characters, like the only thing that you're tracking for yourself is basically just doom. Um, so we'll do actual playtest of that mechanic next week when we play. Okay. What else to say before we start? Oh, I did want to just mention one thing that I haven't written into the rules yet, but that came to mind a couple times as I was writing and thinking about this, is that when we're dealing with stereotypes and archetypes, there's a lot of potential for those things to have baked in inequities and prejudices and biases and things that I think we all need to just kind of be on alert for as much as we can, so that to a certain extent, I think that there's room to play within those boundaries where appropriate, like, you know, like the dumb blonde idea of like because part of the system is also about breaking out of the archetypes you're in, and kind of character development and learning past your own limitations and things. But what I really don't want to do is like have jokes. I want jokes to be about the archetypes and not about the people who, like, the identity of folks who typically make up that archetype. And so there are some that I just think, I mean, there's obviously like some that are just so baked in like racist bullshit that like we just have to take off the table, right? So for example, thug, not an acceptable archetype, right? Like it comes with so much, like, yeah, so much baggage and anti-African American or anti-black racism in America that like we just kind of like don't, let's just not use things like that. But in addition, there are others, you know, like we have, you know, like we've thrown out the idea of the jock multiple times. Like the jock always kind of brings to mind like the, like, if you think of like the stereotypical jock, you're probably picturing someone who looks a lot like Captain America, right? Blonde, blue-eyed, muscly, white-skinned, masculine, all those kinds of things. And so part of what I'm hoping is that we're going to dismantle some of the identity-based parts of the archetypes and just keep the core of like what defines the character's actions. But I know that that's not always possible to do without also just keeping some of the racist or sexist or whatever baggage that comes with these things. So anytime that we see us kind of meandering into that territory, I would very much like for players to keep me and each other accountable, and anyone in the audience keep us accountable as we kind of play in this space to not end up making things worse by talking about stereotypes, but then also just punching down, right? Like we should not be punching down.
I kind of cringed as dumb blonde came out of my mouth. And I was like, oh. And so it could just be a dumb person.
Yeah,
or,
right.
You know,
yeah.
Right. Doesn't
It's
have
funny
to be
because I
that.
grew up blonde and my mom is blonde, and it was a thing that never offended or bothered me. But like, I also realized that my experience isn't the only one that matters. So,
Are we limited to humans?
No, that is something else I was thinking about as I watched my dog walk around the backyard. I'm like, oh my God, I'm thinking of like
'Cause-
the
Yeah,
movies of
because like I
you know, Homeward
absolutely
Bound and
have
stuff.
a thing in mind. So
Okay,
I'm happy
great.
to
And like
dive into that.
aliens, non-humans of any variety, so long as it kind of works within the system, or like, you know, if you're a fish and you end up in like a desert setting, like that's gonna really suck. So but yeah, I think non-humans totally fine with me as well. Okay, so I think that's most of what I wanted to say before we actually kind of get started in like the more interesting stuff, which is I wanted to have players, well, the group of us and everyone in chat, please, you know, feel free to play along with this part. We're just going to brainstorm a bunch of settings that could potentially be settings that we play in. And then collectively as a group, the 5 of us are going to pick one for our one shot next week. So first, we're just going to kind of get a lot out there to see like what kinds of settings this game calls to mind for people who are thinking about it. And then we're going to pick one to actually play in next week. So in the system that or in the rules that I sent out, there's already a few of those settings. I might note take on the Roll20 page with a text box. If somebody wants to read out those ones for chat and for me, I'll put them into Roll20 where everyone can see. And then we can just start adding things if that works for everybody, players.
I've got to
What's
get back
being
to
read?
the.
Sorry.
Yeah, where is this text box?
In the anything, well, on Roll20 is where I'm going to be writing those things down.
Yeah.
But then in the rules that I sent out and that are in the rules that also people in the chat can check out in that same document, there's like one of the headings is called settings ideas.
Okay. All right, got it.
Got it.
Copying and pasting into chat on Roll20.
Cool, thank you. Okay, and then could we also just read them out loud while I get them in this text box?
So we've got pirate ship, high seas, haunted house, casino, knights and quests, a la Arthurian legend, high school prom, totally read prom the first time, high fantasy, a la LOTR, space exploration, a la Star Trek, a charming enchanted forest. We also just mentioned desert. I don't know. Underworld could be fun. A shopping mall.
I was thinking like shopping on Black Friday, or get that one item you really, really want.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm seeing like heist and things, so I just want to also throw out that zombie outbreak, very good. So well, like for settings, I want us to think about like the actual like physical location and not necessarily the impetus for the plot. So like a heist, like the casino is the setting, but the heist might be like the
Okay.
plot point, right? Because those are already kind of something that so Gothic Castle, very good. And like for zombie outbreak, we could say like post-apocalyptic,
So could we just throw out any weird setting?
yeah.
Of course.
Used furniture store? Maybe
Spa.
miniature golf course too? Like a little putt-putt course?
I like spa.
Oh my god, there's too much going through my brain. Can't spit any of it out.
Walmart parking lot.
Walmart. Oh,
Nice,
Sarah, infomercial, like, okay. The idea of this
Infomercial house.
Yes. You know how infomercials, like people like spill like nothing is easy in an infomercial? Okay, that house being the setting. Oh my god. Okay. I
A
feel like
news station.
I've missed some things that yes, very good. That y'all have said. So an office, like like the office.
A university or a classroom of some type.
What did I miss? I know y'all said a few things that I didn't quite jot down.
Where are we looking for the list of that you're
Are
typing
you on
right
Roll20?
now?
Just on the
I
main
am
page?
on Roll20, but I don't see anything. It's just a
Oh,
now it's there.
It's because
I
we
realized,
hadn't-
as I'm adding things, you can't see it, which is silly.
What about trapped inside of a genie's bottle?
Okay.
Also trapped, but in a traffic jam.
Ooh, I like traffic jam.
Stranded on a deserted island.
The club.
A museum.
Oh yeah.
A farm.
A courthouse.
Inside the Keebler Elves tree.
Mm.
I don't know why I'm coming up with. Okay, it's fine. I could think of normal places.
I mean, now you got me thinking of like Santa's workshop.
Oh, that's a good
Oh,
one.
we've also got abandoned amusement park, ethereal planes,
Ooh.
hell in heaven in the chat. Very good.
Nice. Very
good.
Nice.
on the side of a volcano about to, well, no, that's plot.
But like volcano, right?
Mhm.
Active volcano.
Yeah.
On a beach right before a tsunami hits.
Excellent.
On a cruise ship.
Mm.
We did, yeah.
Ooh, on a ghost
Or-
ship.
Yeah.
Ghost ship is good.
A roller rink.
Oh, I like that.
An amusement park.
I think
We
amusement park.
we have abandoned amusement park.
Yeah.
But a regular amusement park could also be good. Like a
Non-abandoned.
boardwalk kind of thing.
Amusement park, comma, not abandoned.
Put an asterisk. Abandoned or not. The Garden of Eden at the start of Montero music video.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
good. Yes. Coral Reef. Like
A submarine.
a lab, like science lab.
Mhm.
Oh, a submarine's good too.
Yes.
On Gilligan's Island.
I don't know if we said hospital.
I don't think so.
Okay. Deep
In a
space.
cave, like deep dark cave, like Mammoth Cave, you know, with all the stalagmites and stalactites and cool crystal formations.
Ooh.
The Matrix.
In a yoga
The
class.
Matrix, I love.
Yeah, I like the
In,
Matrix.
Yoga
inside
class?
of the belly of a kaiju.
In a kaiju.
It's gonna be the plot of Pacific Rim 4.
Gosh.
Oh, buffet. I like that.
Buffet. I like an all-you-can-eat buffet.
We have to
Full of
find the
shrimp and
limit.
crab legs.
How about a medieval jousting festival?
What is a cheese
Like
restaurant?
Renaissance
Meg?
fair or like an actual medieval joust?
Like an
Because-
actual medieval
Okay,
joust.
good.
Ooh, no, never mind. I don't like my suggestion already, and I'm going to pretend I didn't start to talk. I just like that it says the club.
That's how Sarah said it.
Did we
That's
get
how
a
Sarah said
farm?
it. So we got a farm. I mean,
That's
I think
the
these are like we've got a
Dinosaurs.
ton to. Dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs a
Prehistoric.
place?
In the Cretaceous or something.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
dinosaurs are a place?
No, my brain just went dinosaurs. I'm like, okay, all right, here we go.
Looks around.
Dinosaurs. I need to stop eating or I'm going to regret this, but I'm not yet, so that's fine.
Oh yeah,
it's time for
yeah. I
regrets
I
later.
totally meant that go away. Yeah.
Ren Fair.
Yeah. What about on the set of a movie or a TV show
Oh my god, on the
or
set
a
of
reality
Supernatural.
show? Yeah. What about like a reality TV show?
Oh,
Like
reality TV
Survivor
show. Yeah.
Reality TV is good.
That would
Bachelorette.
be
Mhm, yes, exactly.
I'm gonna
Chili's,
be
but
a
she ordered
gelatinous
3
cube.
orders of spinach dip, and it's too much.
God.
Oh my gosh, the British Bake Off.
Meg, why do you like chili so much?
Oh. There's
Okay.
also that TV show that's like specifically about bad cooks trying to cook things.
Oh, like the world's worst cook or something.
Yeah, which is always fun.
Okay, I think we've got a lot of settings potentially
we do.
here to kind of pick from. So then the plot idea typically I would like the way I was kind of thinking about it is like in most cases, probably the GM is going to pick something that kind of goes hand in hand because you want to build this kind of stereotypical story setting, right? So it makes sense, like, but I don't think that that's necessarily like how it has to be, right? A lot of GMs might be like, oh, I want to set this plot idea, like, the perfect prom, and I'm going to set it in a used furniture store, right? Like, you can totally mix and match plot ideas. But I love the idea of a reality TV shows as a potential setting for this. Everybody's picking like their particular favorite reality TV show in the chat right now, which is also very funny. So I think that we should narrow this down to like some favorites for us to play next week. So if you look at that big list that I've put up, sorry, I don't have another overlay or like thing for the people at home to see this giant list, but it's everything we've just said. And maybe pick like one or two favorites of your own and put them somewhere on the page or in the chat on Roll20, and then we'll kind of decide together. Chat, feel free to, of the ones that we've talked about, which ones stand out to you as favorites. We would love to consider that as well.
They all sound like so much fun, though.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's so much potential in all of these, especially if you start considering like the Keebler Elves house. I know that you meant that, like you were like, I can do normal things, but Rachel, I'm imagining like picking again, like just the idea of for most of these just being like, but you're a pirate,
Right.
Yeah, for some reason, pirate never fits.
Yeah.
It's good.
Galway votes abandoned amusement park. I agree that is very good.
It is.
I was just thinking, like, we did. I mean, it wasn't exactly recently, but we did do an amusement park for Rachel's one shot.
Oh, it's
It's
true.
true.
It's true.
It was a haunted-ish amusement park.
I think I'm going to vote for news station because there's so much that could go into that with people having to go on the air and then like, yeah.
Yes.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, there's like so much could happen. The wrong person could appear on like national television. Who knows?
Mhm.
Pirate.
Okay. Yeah, a pirate.
Pirates doing the weather.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
I'm typing out mine. I'm almost.
No, you're good.
Oh, I thought you wanted 5 of our favorites.
Oh,
so
just
I
a few
put-
favorites. Yeah, 5 is
Okay.
fine. You don't have to edit or change anything. You can pick a few favorites. Sarah has put, well, I guess you guys can tell for yourselves instead of me reading them.
Well, I don't want to speak, so no, I'm just kidding.
Get out! I boot Sarah from the call.
My votes are high school prom, cruise ship, infomercial house, but then I did also think news station was good.
Cool.
I put reality TV show, spa, amusement park. I'm impartial as to whether or not it's abandoned or haunted, or neither. Infomercial house and news station.
I only have 2 so far because I'm still kind of looking, but I put reality TV show set and infomercial house or / model home.
Model home is very good.
I will readily admit I put spa
Dollhouse.
solely because in another campaign that I'm in with a couple people in this chat, I really have stressed that I want to have a spa trip episode. So, it's fine if we don't do that. It's fine.
It's going to be the most stressful spa experience, though.
I don't want to have my massage from a pirate.
Hook hand.
I don't know. I think I'm hooked.
Oh.
Oh.
All right.
Oh.
I've got news station, infomercial house, or reality TV. I could go with any of these.
The issue I would think with reality TV show is like, what the heck are we like? What theme would we then go
Yeah,
with,
so
right?
yeah, that's the thing is like for some of the settings we would have to then
It's-
kind of narrow in on something beyond that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
However, I feel like everybody said infomercial house is appealing to them.
Mhm.
What do we want to, I mean, like there's potential here to, play more versions of this in the future, but do we want to like take an infomercial house as our setting for the first one? I think
I'm down.
I feel like
Yeah,
it's
let's do it.
okay.
Sure.
Okay.
perfectly silly.
Okay. So let's
Billy
Just-
Mays here.
okay.
Sham wow.
All right. So if we do an infomercial house, the idea here is that like everything in the house is just like a disaster,
apart.
right? Things are falling apart. Everything needs what are those like slap fix things?
Right, a single-use product.
Yes, everything needs a single use product to fix it. But you are in the infomercial house. You are not, the infomercial model because you can't be that because it's
And
against
also,
it's
are we
anything but
all
that.
stricken with stupidity that we don't know how to do normal things
Well,
upon
see,
arriving here?
No,
Just the
because
stuff's
you're
really
not that
hard.
archetype. It's just that stuff is really hard. Like all the Cheeto bowls are greased and like you can't hold on to them.
Oh,
because
Jesus.
They're gonna fall.
Oh.
Yeah, yes.
We're just
You'll
gonna
try to open
constantly
a-
be tumbling things. Yeah.
Yeah, if you open a door, it falls off.
Or you open a door and no matter which door it is, just a whole bunch of Tupperware always falls down
Yes.
on you.
Yes.
You're just like, where'd they come from?
Yep.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So yeah, don't forget to install your life alert. Oh my god. Okay. So with that, plot impetuses. Like what can be the drive of the plot, right? What is it like you are locked in the infomercial house and the owners are coming home tomorrow and they, like can't know that you were there? Or is it, literally like survive the night with the knives that just need an organization system that you can't
Or is
seem
it
to
that we
find?
have to film an infomercial?
Film an infomercial, fix the problems in the infomercial
Right, like
house.
I like fix the problems. Like so
Yeah.
many problems keep showing up and we have to come up with ways to fix them.
Okay.
Mm.
Like it's
Yep.
always just like things dropping or exploding or leaking.
Yeah.
Be like the kitchen is on one side of the house and the dining room is on on the upstairs, it's in the attic, and we have to get all the food there without spilling it.
Okay.
With all the plates
I
are
like
greased.
I like the thought that like, okay, maybe the infomercial house, like they're on short supply of their regular things that they need to have at the house all the time. So maybe we have to substitute because things are, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Hmm.
they're still trying to sell the products, and so you have to like put up a good enough show of like, so
Right,
okay,
yeah.
okay, that could work. That works well too as like kind of an outside, right? Like reason to do something, right? Like the people from the production company are like, well, you got to fix it, you got to do something because we're filming this today and today only, kind of thing. So that could, yeah. Other thoughts? Rachel, you just have a very stumped look on your face. So
I'm definitely not distracted by other things. Yeah, I really like the idea of continually needing to fix things like that. That like all these different infomercial tropes are happening in the house, and we need to figure out a way to fix them all in order to be able to leave.
yeah, okay.
That the ghost of Billy Mays is trapping us there, and he's like,
Yep.
Oh
"Until
my
you fix
God,
all
farming
these-"
ideas from you.
I
Yeah.
have it. Okay. So or I have a good idea.
I
Not
just
that I
had
have
it,
the idea.
so, thank you.
But no, it's rooted in your idea. So, we arrive on set and there's just a whole bunch of gadgets that are all single use, but no description as to the problem they're supposed to solve. And so we have to figure out how do we use, whatever the heck this is to solve a random problem that we haven't even found yet. I don't know.
It's
I
just
do
shapes.
want to
We have to
not
look
give
at a
Elyse
shape.
too much work. I'm afraid of being like, come up with all of these
Watch
things
40
and
hours
all
of
of the-
infomercials between now and next Thursday to do your research.
We're all wearing Snuggies.
Yes, and we all have slap chops.
Yes.
And we're just constantly slapping that tape that stops leaks on each other's orifices.
Everything's
You start
dirty.
to cry, and we just slap the tape on your eyes and be like, "Bam! Leak stopped." Like,
I have just a box of shake weights.
But they're rogue. They're rogue shake weights.
They're just constantly like, ah!
Oh Lord. Okay. Yes, all of this. Okay. So we do have a setting and a plot idea, which I will fine tune as the GM so that it's not all known to you all what will exactly be happening in the infomercial house. Now, archetypes. So, the first thing I would like to do is similar to what we just did with the settings. I would like to get just a bunch of archetype ideas on the page. So, I know some of you are ready for this. Heather's got a list pre-made. And just kind of like, okay, so like let's start with, if we could start again with the ones that are in the document to kind of read out loud. Those probably won't be as easy to copy and paste because there's a bunch of other stuff with them.
Are you gonna do a separate list in the Roll20?
Yes, I am.
Did you say that and I heard it?
No, I haven't said that yet. You're
Good.
actually ahead of the curve on this.
Yeah.
So I'd want to just like get the idea of like what are the kinds of like generic archetypes that we're trying to evoke here. And then we want to start actually listing ones. And then we'll pick from those which ones sound interesting to you all to develop for the game. So
I could read some of the example ones.
Please do.
Do you want me to just read the names or also?
Yeah, just the names. And like if you want to read that first line of description if you feel like it, but they're pretty self-explanatory.
Sure, like the knight in shining armor.
Mm-hmm.
And it says fully from the not really true era of medieval European history. The femme fatale carries a tiny gun, talks with a mid-Atlantic accent and straight from the movies. The wizard, Merlin, it's Merlin or Gandalf, etc. The dumb jock, just your 2019 state all-star #1 pick for big state university, loves Jesus, their mom, and their beautiful girlfriend in that order. The space cowboy, Han Solo, Mal Reynolds. Mal? It's been a long time since I've seen.
I don't know.
Since I've seen
Say
Firefly.
how you feel.
Or go more legit and be the space captain like Jean-Luc Picard. The mad scientist has an answer for everything in a lab where the magic science happens.
Okay, so those are the ones that kind of like just as examples that I cooked up. So then I know some of you already have a bunch of other ideas. So if you've already kind of started your own ideas, if you'll read those to me and I'll get those on the list too. And then we'll just start spitballing.
Okay. Including the ones that I've fleshed out some?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. My first thought was the crazy cat lady.
Love it.
I've also got soccer mom, overenthusiastic coach, airhead, rocker, hippie, party animal, artist, class clown, drama queen or drama king, grandma or grandpa, and know-it-all.
So I'm typing.
Could you?
Oh, I could paste those if you want.
That's okay. I've already got them.
Okay, sorry.
Years of being a communication grad student, have a lot of practice with transcribing as I listen. Okay.
Oh, is it weird? So I just had a thought that, my favorite board/card game ever is Smash Up.
Yeah.
And that game is literally designed with archetypes.
Oh,
and
yeah.
like different,
that's true.
Things.
Mm-hmm.
Could I go get it, or is that weird?
That's not weird. I think that's fine. Let's hear.
Look it up. I have fucking Google. Jesus, Elyse.
Good. I need you to stand up and walk over to the. Okay. Sam, do you have something you would like to put on the list?
Yeah. So, well, I guess I want to know how specific Like, I mean, obviously archetypes are supposed to be general. I have
Yeah.
kind of a. Are we allowed to get specific with our character though? Or do they just have to kind of embody the entirety of the archetype?
So I think that there's, to a certain extent, like that's right. The archetypes are meant to be kind of like very large categories. And some of what we're doing like really is straying from like I think a kind of true or strict definition of what an archetype is. So using it kind of casually, not literally, like as in from literature literally, literaturely. But in addition, um the idea is that like the character that you design should kind of feel like kind of a quintessential version of this kind of character figure. So if you were to kind of take a lot of examples, like there should be many examples of them from media that you can kind of average together into something. So your character obviously can be an individual, but because the game is designed for your character to like learn, grow, and eventually break the mold of their archetype, the idea is that they start kind of firmly entrenched in their archetype and eventually move their way from it. And so if that kind of helps define for you.
Yeah. So it's funny because the first idea I had for a character was like kind of a hodgepodge of a few different archetypes. Um, uh, I wrote a YouTuber slash streamer, um, anime protagonist, uh, I also have Yeti, which I guess you could go with like cryptid,
Mm.
and then Ghost Hunter.
Nice.
Excellent. I love the YouTuber streamer, like the
Yes, so the YouTuber streamer slash anime protagonist were like the combined idea in my head. And I'm happy to explore that later because that's the one that I did flesh out.
yeah.
But I'm gonna do one of the other ones for now.
Okay, cool. Sarah, did you have any you want to put on the list?
We don't have pirate. But like the one that I was thinking of, we can't use because it fits the setting.
Yeah,
I
but
thought
it's still
it
so
would be
good.
funny, yeah, to like a commercial dad who just
Oh.
like is a good guy. He's just bumbling. He doesn't know what yogurt is. He left the baby in the car. He can fix stuff. Men don't know what yogurt is if you look at commercials. I'm just like, yogurt's only for women.
Oh, right. I forgot. You're right.
Rachel, if you had any already or that came to mind already.
I planned. Some of the ones that I saw from here that I liked are one of my favorites is mythic horses. So I don't know, because you said it didn't all have to be human, right?
Yeah.
So like some kind of like unicorn, Pegasus, something, but that can talk and be in places. I just really want there to be a fucking like hooves in this house.
Yep.
Can't actually use any of the items.
Yep.
It's just there for moral support. Like
Yep.
Hero. A hero.
I also like spies, like old, like like James Bond type spies.
Ooh, private investigator type.
Steampunks, like some kind of like steampunk person, or just like Hot Topic goth. That's another one that came to mind.
Like straight up princess or something from the medieval era.
A superhero. So just like a Superman type, or Wonder Woman, whatever type thing that just a rock star. Could be like a washed up rock star. And I also like professional wrestler.
Oh yeah, I was thinking about that too.
I like that. Typical like trucker. Like a roller skating disco dancer kind of person. Or
ballerina.
Oh yeah, ballerina's nice.
Yeah, I think at this point,
Librarian.
yeah, I was going to say, let's just every idea that comes our way.
Yeah.
I want to, librarian is a good, I need to write that down before I forget, but I do want to highlight, I love this, Galway's vampire brooding versus vampire sparkle. It's like two, very funny. When I shared the system with Galway, yesterday, like the first thing that he did was like, be like, okay, but can I be a vampire, a sparkle vampire who has like, it was so well done. It was like externalized monologue where instead of like internal monologue where it like bores or distracts all of the enemies so that your party can like do something, without them noticing. And part of the ability is like nobody calls you out for it. And I'm like, that's so good. It's so funny. So I love that, and I'm going to add it to the list as well.
I love that.
Like a Mountie, like a Canadian Mountie.
We already
Ranger.
have jocks, but yeah, I guess professional athlete is a jock.
Struggling actor.
Ooh. Oh, what about Fairy Tale Child? Like a Hansel and Gretel type thing? Like just somebody who
Ooh,
bumbles
I
into things?
like that.
Yeah, definitely.
So innocent.
Right, super innocent, but
Or-
Oh, that's great.
Ooh, I see time traveler in the chat.
Yes.
nice.
And
Love
sandwich.
it. Sandwich? I'm
said
struggling.
and
I'm
sandwich?
Galway
struggling
says
with
now he
sandwich.
wants to role play a sandwich.
I'll put it on the list, but
Well, it's like the game I Am Bread. You
yeah.
just have
Yeah,
to flop
yeah.
around.
True.
A
Could he-
fainting goat.
Oh, a medium, like a psychic or
Yeah.
That's a good one.
what was Heather? What did you say? What goat?
Fainting goat.
Fainting goat.
Just always bah.
Every time it gets startled.
Okay, I feel like we're just
Oh,
naming
what about a
things that we like
shape-shifting-
now.
What about a shape-shifting alien who's really bad at blending in as being a human?
Invaders.
Tiki Taco.
Yeah, like Invader Zim style.
Uh-huh.
My
Shape-shifting
squiddly
alien.
sporch.
Also like robot or android.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Super villain.
A bowl of jelly that has become sentient.
Again,
AI.
Really specific.
are we kind of just naming
Cosplayer.
things that we think are good or funny? Not
I like cosplayer.
again, can you think of multiple instances in media where this has been a character? That is a
Gelatinous
type
AI.
of
food.
character. AI, yes. And cosplayer.
Yeah, all the time, Elyse. Jeez. I've read and seen so many things with sentient bowls of jelly. Why are you judging me?
Because that's really something.
Their name was Smuckers.
Like a boss lady, like a 80s
Oh, yeah.
businesswoman.
Like a Devil Wears Prada kind of like like an Indiana
A
Jones
fashion
type.
model.
Like a person that is an archaeologist who goes way too far.
Yeah.
Or
A brand
anthropologist.
icon like Ronald McDonald.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
good.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
mascot.
Yeah, a mascot. That'd be amazing.
I'm
Okay,
gonna be the Hamburglar.
Rachel, what was the thing that you just said that was I was writing all the other ones and it's hard.
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones, okay.
Yeah.
I knew it.
And I'm trying to
How
think
do
of
you
actual
spell
tropes.
archaeologist? This is not something I
He's
thought
all
I'd have to do.
Archeologist.
Yeah.
For an anthropologist. I think he's an anthropologist.
He's an archaeologist.
It could be both. Let's just put
I think he's an
putting-
archaeologist.
Do his job.
action
he doesn't do his job.
archaeologist
He's bad at it.
on the list, and that's what we're gonna know that's an Indiana Jones type.
movie star.
And the tagline is just, it belongs in a museum. Oh, Manic Pixie Dream Girl.
That's a good one.
Was suggested by Adam. I was like, by who?
Wonderful. Yes. Also, remember that you can tap into all of these other settings that we have as well to think of.
Oh, yeah.
So we could do like doctor,
We didn't think of normal things like fucking doctor. Extended ball of jelly.
I am a doctor.
Used
And
car
I didn't even think
salesman?
of it.
Oh, used car
How
salesman.
about an actual ghost?
Ghost, yeah.
What about like
soldier.
like a benevolent, like I see Charming Enchanted Forest, I think of like a benevolent like forest spirit or something.
So I know I said anime protagonist already, but I want to be a little bit more specific because the I feel like it works. Like a pilot of like a Gundam or like Neon Genesis Evangelion or something like that.
Yeah. Also just
A mech.
pilot. So, but we'll
Yeah.
put mech pilot or something like that as well.
That was part of my YouTuber guy.
Galway put soldier. I also added frat boy or sorority girl for like the college
Oh, yeah.
campus.
Mm-hmm.
What about news anchor?
Mm-hmm.
That's a
Mm,
good one.
I like
I
that.
say about my own opinion.
Angel.
That's a good one, Rachel.
Devil.
Oh yeah, like a demon
Angels
or
and
a devil.
devils. Mm-hmm.
Sportscaster? I know that's like news anchor and stuff, but a
Sportscaster.
sportscaster is a very specific.
Are we just compiling this list for you to put this into your document?
No, it's not my
I think
intention
it's part of
to.
the game. Oh, sorry.
No, yeah, it's actually not my intention to like put a bunch of stuff, but I might make like if it goes anywhere, like I guess I could use a lot of these as like almost like an appendix of like if your players are struggling to think of something, like here are some ideas.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Just have like a
Mhm.
bank of ideas.
But I don't want to
Because
get
all of our ideas are the best, of course.
What about a carny?
obviously. I feel like that does like
Is that bad?
I think that there are a lot of like problems with like I don't know because like that one is in my experience if maybe not full bad but at least in the problematic needs a lot of discussion and discourse
Sure.
zone and so I might
A
Yeah.
busker.
a busker oh I was gonna finish my thought. I don't want to like prescribe a bunch of these or like build too many of them because like I think part of the fun is doing this type of like
We just
figuring
said
it
a
out.
mime.
Oh my god.
Wow.
That is
Oh.
Elyse keeps trying to have like a serious conversation about stereotypes and all these things, and Sam is just like, anyway, here's my ideas.
Now I want us to all just be a party of mimes.
Opera diva also very good.
Mhm.
Fifth element.
Oh, that would make for the best content ever.
Okay, I feel like again, we don't have very many fantasy things, so can we get a few like
Oh, yeah.
fantasy or kind of not like our world?
Dragon.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Barbarian.
Daddy.
Daddy. I'm putting leather daddy on the list now, Sam.
Daddy. In parentheses, leather.
As opposed to dad in parentheses bumbling commercial.
Exactly.
For
New game deck
differentiation
fit.
between dad species. See?
Go play Dadlands.
Yeah, oh my gosh. Elf. I mean, we
Should
can
be
just kind of
elf,
hit like
Lord of
elf,
the Rings,
dwarf,
elf,
right?
Keebler,
Right.
elf, Santa's Workshop,
Mermaid.
Siren.
Yeah, witch. Witch is a good one.
All good, all good.
Oh yeah. For sure.
What about like space exploration archetypes?
Sentient bowl of jelly.
I mean, we
Red
do have
shirt.
pilot already.
Oh, red shirt.
Commander. Oh, sorry, Rachel
Uh,
said something.
Oh no, I was just telling Heather that I liked red shirt.
I like red shirt too.
What about
Yeah,
like
that's
spaceship mechanic? I think about like Firefly, and then I've read some
Yeah,
other books that have those kind of.
Cat
Smuggler.
person. We do have crazy cat lady.
I think he means an actual cat person. Like
That's
a
the
tabaxi.
one
Oh,
that
like
I
a
built
cat
out.
person. Oh,
Yeah, I think he means like a tabaxi
Oh.
type of thing. But we're not playing D&D, so it wouldn't be
Oh,
called
like
that.
a Khajiit.
Yeah, like a Khajiit.
I'm putting tabaxi in parentheses for clarification for now. A lot of this, like, again, if this were to go anywhere, we'd have to like edit out so many like copyright problems
Oh, for
anyway.
sure.
So,
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, Heather, you said an idea that maybe I missed.
Oh no, that was I said the crazy cat lady's the one that I built out a little bit.
Yeah.
Um,
Cat person
but-
has committed no crime.
Cat person has wares if you have coin.
Oh, like a
Um,
vendor, like
Mm.
salesperson.
a delivery person that could fit in pretty much.
Yeah.
That could be in space or
It's true.
anywhere.
Smuggler.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I said that already.
Sorry, that's a lot of stuff coming my way to type.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, well, we have
Um,
so many. Did you have another?
I
I
was
was
thinking
gonna
like
say Messiah figure, but that feels a little bit too thin ice for like offending people. Be like, here's what your religion's like.
But cult
Anyway.
leader.
Oh,
It
cult leader's good.
could
mm,
be cult leader, could also be like part divine, creature. I don't
Yeah, we
know.
have like god and goddess on the list from chat. Someone put that in the chat, and like there's lots of different kind of ways to interpret too, of like, different
What?
inspiration,
What?
or like, what's the word? Like, not just Judeo-Christian
Like
understandings of God, right?
secular
Mm,
well, yeah.
yeah.
What would you call like Sigourney Weaver's character in Alien? Like that kind of trope of like
badass.
badass
Yeah,
lady
but she's a
fighter,
fucking badass.
badass
Yeah.
lady. There's plenty of badass dudes. Let's have a badass lady.
Yeah.
I am putting badass lady fighter on the list. So
Nice.
Nice.
Like your trinities.
Yeah. And
Oh,
then, like,
man or woman in black, like
mhm, mhm.
Mm.
alien hunter.
mhm.
A straight up
Okay.
alien with, stereotypical alien.
All right. Okay. This is a lot.
Can't
A
hear you.
comedian.
I'm pushing shift instead of control. Now we're on. Oh, comedian. That's cute. Okay. All right. I'm gonna add that one. But let's move. Let's take a break. Let's go get water, snacks. We'll be back in 10 minutes to actually move into actual character creation. So in the meantime, players feel free to pick a few that you might want to build out to actually play in the infomercial house. Remember that you should pick things that don't fit. So salesperson, vendor, bumbling commercial dad.
Struggling actor.
Struggling actor, a bunch of those kinds of things like do fit the infomercial house. So you want to pick a few things that you think are good, like misfits for the infomercial house. And then we'll kind of compare, but you can also do that after you take your break.
A
So
Leviathan.
just a sea creature cracking in the house. All right. Instead of using
We
the
really
slap
need to make
tape
sure
stuff,
the tub
the
doesn't
Kraken
leak
is
from
just
it.
like all of its arms, just like all the leaks. Yeah. Oh my god. Okay. So let's take our break. This has been utterly delightful so far. Thanks for playing along so far, chat and players. Let's take about 10 minutes. So 8, 22, 23, 10, 22, 23 for the different time zones. And yeah, we'll see you in 10 minutes, friends.
Boobies, boobies, boobies.
There you go. Now that one's gonna go live. So, hey everybody, we're back. And this time,
Boobies.
yep,
Oh.
you're treated to Heather going boobies, 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 right? As we went live. Thanks, Heather.
Lovely.
It was
Sorry.
Sam who was really trying to do that, and then Heather jumped on the bandwagon, and lo and behold, was the one who got. Okay. Oh, all right. Here we are back. Let's pick some characters. I would like to hear. Thank you, Chelsea. Welcome. Everybody in chat is welcome to throw their favorite, silly word in just for
Or just boobies.
boobies. Okay, so we're gonna pick.
Show your boobies in chat. And then...
No,
Please,
not
oh
that.
God.
Not that. And that's how we got taken down from Twitch.
I was gonna say, and a ban hammer.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
So here we go. We're gonna pick a few top choices, similar to what we did with the settings for each player. If you have just like a top choice, and if two people choose the same top choice, then like we can negotiate. But players, what sounds good or fun to you?
I would love to play a psychic or medium.
Okay, cool. I love that.
Not to let anybody down, I'd love to play a mythic horse. Questioningly, not sure how. We'll figure it out.
Figure it out.
Or a fairy tale child.
Okay.
I have 4 that I would be interested in playing: a cryptid, an alien, a dragon, or a ghost.
All right. All
Nice.
non-humans, just straight off the. Excellent.
So, am I including in this list the one that I've already fleshed out and fully intend on doing next week?
What is that one?
That one's the YouTuber / anime protagonist.
Man, you gotta learn
can't-
to go with the flow, buddy.
No, I'm absolutely going to completely craft another character right now.
I don't want a slash character. I mean, you know what I mean.
Oh, they're just the perfect amalgamation of these things.
Yes.
But
we want the.
I
art.
promise.
classic
I
game.
promise you'll okay it when you actually hear the whole idea. But then the one that I plan on like fleshing out right now is going to be the Yeti.
Okay. Cool. All right. So we've got like Yeti, medium psychic, Rachel, the other person, another person. Since there are many whose names I could have said that were not the right name. Rachel. Between mythic horse and fairy tale child, do you have a preference?
Come back to me. Or unless I'm the last one.
No.
Come back to me, and everybody else has already chosen.
Sarah, top choice.
I think I'll do alien, and it'll be like the alien like trying to blend in, but like failing.
Okay. All right. So we've got alien for Sarah.
I just want invaders in, Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
Slash
I'm looking at this with my human eyeballs.
Medium
I have a mighty need.
for Heather. All right. And Rachel, it's all you now. You got to pick one.
Oh,
Chat really wants you to be a horse, but I want you to be whatever is calling to you the most.
I know, which is bad because I think a lost fairy tale child is really calling to me, but I also
do
could
it.
just be a
Mhm.
unicorn in a house.
Both would be very good.
I think Chelsea just keeps yelling horse.
Welcome to the neighborhood.
I feel like the
Oh God, we had to
naivete
get such
of
a
a
nay
fairy
all the
tale
time.
child is exciting to think about.
The what?
Mhm.
Naivete.
Yes, I really like the idea of being like a lost little child. I think I'm gonna do fairy tale child.
Okay, fairy tale child.
Sorry, chat. I love you.
I think
Elyse will let me be a fairy tale child riding on a unicorn.
the medium's going to have a lot of fun things with the fairy tale child.
Okay.
Fortune teller.
So Chelsea in the chat asked if these are the characters you'll be playing next week. So they might be, Chelsea. The intention is to kind of design characters that people will play. I know Sam and Heather have both already kind of designed out characters as well that they might, could pick from as well. I, don't want to necessarily say for sure yes. And I could see, but the idea here is like in a full play of this game, I think that, you would do if you were to play this kind of like more naturally instead of in a play test kind of intentionally we're going kind of out of the way to like design extra things. You would probably design characters the same night that you play. Hopefully the process of all of the first part would go a lot faster. I think I would probably like in the rules, this is something I was thinking about on the break, like put in like a recommendation of like pick like brainstorm 7 settings and then brainstorm like 3 archetypes per setting so that you kind of get breadth and depth quickly instead of to kind of guide people towards getting a lot of ideas without necessarily. Anyway, that's just a thought. Yeah, so the next thing to do is I mentioned at the beginning of stream, every character, and once you have an archetype, you then build out 3 abilities for the character based on their archetype. And you want to kind of play again, like think about kind of what makes the kind of quintessential thing about this archetype true of that archetype and use those types of things. It doesn't have to necessarily be like super boring or middle of the road, but like again, like you want it to really really fit the archetype at the beginning. So with that in mind, and I did mention or in the rules kind of write out a little thing too, like in addition to that, like fully embracing like magic realism, rule of cool kind of fun of these things, like abilities for a wizard are going to include things like cast fireball as obviously within the archetype. And then if you choose like a jock, it's like, well, what am I supposed to do? Run real fast? And it's like, okay, but you can, like play up the magic realism side of things and like kind of make something really fun or interesting. So, the description I wrote out had the like loves Jesus, their mom, and their girlfriend in that order. And so I was joking, like, like that kind of like I can do anything, through God kind of power of like the dumb faith, right? Not that faith itself is dumb, but this person's like kind of blind faith in something, right? Of like God gives me powers kind of thing, and like could literally be one of your powers is God gives me powers, and then like describe what it is divine intervention, or it's some kind of like, right? So like tons of fun to have with those kinds of abilities. So I also encourage, for those of you who have played Trashkin and used like the spells in the Trashkin world, you will know that some of them are things like you can reach into a garbage pile and find like smutty magazines anywhere. And sometimes those have been some of the funniest and best, like seem rather useless when you get them, and then they turn out to be just like so wildly useful in ways that you never could have imagined, and they really kind of make people like think outside the box for like how could you like use this ability to your advantage. So what I would encourage is like don't metagame knowing the setting ahead of time. Being like, oh, well, this would be a good way to get around having, nothing to do with this, but rather think really like what would be fun and interesting. Even designing something that seems kind of like ridiculous or almost useless on the surface can end up being a really fun and compelling design choice down the road. So I encourage that. And I also encourage players to kind of think in terms of like a low, medium, and high or a ability. So like it doesn't have a huge effect, but you can use it all the time type ability. It would be kind of your low grade one. Like a mid grade one would be something that like, has a little more oomph to it, but might have limitations and constraints on it. And then like a high grade ability might be something that you only get to use once per game, or it has some other type of like really strict limitation on it. So that you kind of get a mix of power throughout your abilities. So, with that in mind, if I know people will need some time to think too, and you can look at the rule system that I wrote out for examples. There are, for each one of the example archetypes that I built, I have an example ability that goes kind of along with it. So yeah, should we start with tags? Would that make more sense? Thoughts?
What tag?
Yeah, could you give an
Yeah.
example of like tags because I don't see them in the thing. Jig.
They're in the character creation under Archetype Tags. There's like a section for them there. But here's okay. So
but there's just not a list, and I wanted to see a
oh,
list.
each one of the archetype examples has an example of them. I don't have a list of them though. So tags are going to be things that like make sense for within your archetype. Things that you would say like with descriptors, adjectives that you would apply to this archetype, and things that would then those things that we kind of tag your character with. You're going to pick 2 positive, 1 negative trait that kind of tags your archetype, or describes your archetype, and those things will become the areas that essentially you get like a second d6 to roll in. So most actions you just roll 1d6 and it's a 50-50 shot of success or failure. But for things that fall within your kind of expertise or things that really fit your archetype, you get that second d6 basically roll with advantage. So an example would be like, let's see. So for the Space Cowboy, I have like in archetype would be like an in archetype tag would be cunning, right? Space Cowboy is like if you think of like Han Solo, Mal Reynolds, like they're cunning. They're constantly like thinking of
so
like
those are the tags, which
those
is
are
in
the
archetype
tags.
and against archetype. Okay,
Exactly. Those are the tags. And so an in-archetype tag for the mad scientist, self-absorbed, right? You typically see like kind of clueless to the world around because they're so absorbed in their head with thinking about their next invention or whatever it is, right? So those are the kinds of tags that we're talking about. And so you want to pick 2 things that are generally a positive trait for your archetype and 1 thing that's kind of considered a negative or bad trait of your archetype. And those would be all 3, including the negative trait, would be things that when you act in accordance to that trait, you get the second d6 to roll.
So just to make sure I'm following, so we get 2 in archetype tags and 1 against.
Nope,
or sorry,
you get 3 in archetype tags, 2 of which are generally positive, 1 of which is generally negative. We haven't even talked yet about against archetype tags.
Okay, all right.
So like for the fortune teller, I could say something like, or medium / fortune teller, insightful, because they have to be good at reading people.
Yep.
They're fakes. Okay.
Yeah.
And
I'm really hoping that people will help me create this. Like I'm not just sitting here coming up with it on my own, right?
Yeah.
It's
so
kind of a collaborative
yeah,
thing.
it's all collaborative. So if we want to think about, things that kind of define the genre of fairy tale child, what kind of adjectives come to mind in chat? Please feel free to chime in.
naive,
Yeah, naive.
Like innocent.
happy.
Also naughty, right? They're usually it's some kind of didactic tale about, listening to your parents better, going to bed on time, things like that.
Okay. So do we want me to be naughty or naive?
Why not
I
both?
kind of like being naive. Oh, I thought you just pick 1 tag.
No, you get 3 total. 1 is negative, 2 are positive. I guess naive kind of has like a negative connotation. You could put innocent as a positive tag and naughty as a negative tag, and then we'd need 1 more positive.
I like innocent and naughty seem. I like naive.
No, that's good. And I also think like there's a certain amount of like cleverness to fairy tale children, right? They often figure out puzzlish kind of ways to get out of tricky situations.
Or they get eaten.
They like think outside the box, right? They're like childlike nature makes them see things for what they truly are and
right
past the norm.
Like intuitive.
Yeah.
Clever, innocent, and naughty.
They can always make friends.
Friendly, that could be one.
I like clever, innocent, and naughty.
Okay, yeah. So then, who else? Any ideas from the rest, or anybody want to kind of crowdsource their adjectives, their tags?
I'd like some crowdsourcing.
Yeah,
Which one did you pick
I could
again?
also go for it, but I'll go after you.
Okay. So for the kind of alien who's attempting, like the trying to pass as a human alien.
So we're just working on tags now, right?
Yep, 3. So you're 2 positive, 1 negative in archetype tag.
Do you have anything right now?
I was thinking like something along the lines of like confused or bewildered, just to, like that would be like the negative, because it's just like I am not from this world.
I would
But
maybe
in terms of like how it's gonna work in a context as something that could be anything, right?
I like bad liar one. I don't know, it's 2
Oh,
words,
yeah.
I guess, but
It's a good one.
And I was thinking probably like intelligent, because you would not have knowledge about other technologies that we don't.
Yeah.
So maybe. Go ahead,
Sure.
Sam.
I was just gonna say, this is one that I have for mine as well. But resilient. I mean, if you're alien, maybe you're from like the literal like vacuum of space, so you might be extra strong or something.
Also, like explorative, like tries anything once kind of thing, right? Like willing to try anything. I don't know. There's got to be a better adjective, succinct word for that.
Adventuresome.
Adventurous, yeah.
Resourceful,
Mm-hmm.
because you kind of have to be to like blend. If you're shitty at blending in at the time that it matters, you have to like be resourceful to figure out how to do it in the moment to not get caught out. Excuse me.
And Sam, what did you end up with?
So for right now, I'm going with Yeti, and like I have a few, but I kind of feel like they're, very on the nose. I guess it's kind of the point,
That's
but
kind of
like,
the point, yeah.
yeah,
I'm
I
sorry, what did you
physically
choose?
strong.
Cryptid?
Yeti.
Yeti.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Physically strong. I wrote resilient because they're all out, facing the weather, braving the weather. And I wrote unintelligent as the possible thing. But also, if they've been managing to evade human contact for so long, they have to have something going for them.
I would say
So-
like maybe reactionary for the
Or even-
negative one.
Yeah, or reclusive.
Yeah, reactionary.
Yeah.
Because like they
Reactionary is good,
definitely
yeah.
like her, and like when they don't need to be that,
Yeah, okay. Nice, thanks.
Okay, so Heather, you had intuitive for your psychic, or was that what? Yeah, insightful. I think was the word you chose. Yeah.
What about shady?
Ooh, I like that. That could be
There's
the
definitely
negative.
a little bit of shadiness and like yes, your grandmother did tell me this. Was her name starting with an M?
No, an A. Yeah.
Is it A adjacent?
Is there an A in her name?
Yeah.
I'm feeling something about A. Oh, that she breathed air.
And yeah, I don't know. I started off.
Mysterious.
Yeah. Is that.
What about woo woo? Can woo woo be a?
Well, I think mysterious also has like a certain amount of like charismatic or like charm involved in it, right? That like people are drawn to the mystery because like, and so there's that kind of like, does that make sense?
Okay, yeah. That makes sense. They can be intrigued by the mystery. And
yeah.
It doesn't have to be the campy kind of mystery that, Ooh, I feel spirits.
Yeah, and
But
it like totally can be, right? But like mysterious like can be a positive tag for like a lot of things. And like that's one of the,
Right.
like it can be this kind of like the mystery of like the unknown and all these things that you seem to be a conduit for, like does draw people to you, right? That's why people go to
Yeah.
mediums, right? Is because there's
I
this
like
Yeah.
that.
I like it too. All right. So we've got insightful, shady, and mysterious.
nice. And then Sarah,
Okay.
did you narrow your list or decide on your 3?
So I decided the negative one would be like gullible because
That's good.
I just don't know, and so I can just be tricked easily.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought like resourceful or inventive, or that does either of those matter, or is it just the same thing?
Yeah, I think resourceful kind of captures inventive as well as kind of a few other things, right? Like that. But the idea that like resourceful kind of to me like specifically says like you can look around your environment and find solutions to things
Mhm.
pretty easily.
And then this one is actually one that is like, it could be a negative, but is somewhat of a positive, and it goes with like the adventurous one. Maybe we'll just pick adventurous, but I was thinking maybe like fearless could be interesting because it's just like, yeah, I'm just doing this thing with no worries, right? Like, well, I don't know, fearless is too. It's not what I'm getting at.
Also kind of goes.
Courageous or
Like confident.
But it's like the false. It's like the kind of thing where he's fearless when he shouldn't be, like because
Right.
it's also bad and dangerous and dumb. Like I know
And-
the
but
word
that
you're
could go
thinking
into
of, and I can't
gullible.
think of it.
That could
Oh.
also be a part of gullible because you just don't know what the danger is, and so
Could be like
You just-
impulsive. I'm trying to think. There's a word specifically.
But we're
that's not
looking
part
for a
of that.
good, a positive trait right now, right?
Right.
Mhm.
Which, like, I do think that, like, what I'm trying to get at is what we're all like circling around, right? Which is this, like confidence to try new things, but like not necessarily thinking them through all the way. So
You're just so
overconfident.
random.
No, that's bad. I mean, I think courageous could
Spontaneous.
encompass that because
Yeah, I
you're
think
courageous
is
enough to
good.
try new things. Doesn't say you have to be smart enough to think them through first.
maybe like bold.
Yeah, Chloe just
Elyse?
said bold. As
yeah,
well.
bold. Yeah, bold or
Boldness or
Mhm.
brashness. Yeah.
Yeah. People keep saying foolhardy,
The
but we are
bold
trying to
and
pick
brash.
something that spins positive because of the idea
Mhm.
that there should be 2 positive, 1 negative tag, and we already have a negative tag.
Yeah.
All
right.
well, maybe it's like you're like, I don't want to say like willing to take risks. That sounds like where we're going with this, but I feel like there's a better word for that.
Yeah, I think bold is good. Like
I think
bold,
bold is good.
resourceful, and gullible.
Yeah, that fits. That feels like it. Yeah, it fits this kind of archetype of like. Yeah, that's good. Okay. So does everyone have their 3 tags now?
Mhm.
Okay. So the against archetype tags are things that work later down the line for you, but they're kind of things that you should say like these are kind of off limits as like ways to act for my character because they are against the archetype, right? At least at the beginning, there are ways to kind of eventually access things that are outside your archetype. But I want to like think about things that like just don't work for your archetype, right? It just doesn't make sense to call the Yeti stealthy because I guess it kind of does, right? There
Wait.
are cases
Yeah, I
where
was
the
gonna
Yeti
say,
is
hold
stealthy,
on.
but like not like delicate, right? Maybe like delicate stealthy. I'm thinking like in a right or like blends in with things easily. Like that's just not the Yeti, right? It has unless he's in his home environment. But he's not because the whole point of this is it's anything but your home
We're in an
environment, right?
infomercial.
Yeah. So, but like that's the idea, right? Is that you're picking out these kind of against archetype things like descriptors, adjectives, tags. You don't need any particular number of them, but they will eventually help your role playing because there's an ability that all of the characters are going to have access to called breaking the mold, which these will help kind of inform how you break your mold, right? So you want to have a few at your disposal to kind of pick from based on what you're encountering. So We have, again, chat if you would like to suggest against archetype tags. We have the Yeti. We have the psychic or medium, the fortune teller kind of archetype. We have the alien trying to pass as a human archetype, and we have the fairy tale child trying to pass as human. I was just going to add that modifier again.
My
I don't
name
know
is
why.
Lily Glombor, and
Um,
I am also an alien. I killed a witch with my
Yeah.
tentacles.
So if you have ideas for things that kind of work as like descriptors, adjectives that kind of don't fit the archetypes of those things. So again, it's Yeti, fortune teller, alien trying to pass as human, and fairy tale child.
I
How many
think
do
for
we
the
need?
So we want. Oh yeah, how many do we get?
I suggest there isn't a number. I suggest like 3 or 4, but that's based on just like me thinking as I wrote the rules. So like what feels
You want
right
us to
to
possibly have more against archetype tags than
Uh,
archetype
n-
tags?
they're
Or-
they're there as role playing cues for you down the line. They're not there as mechanics yet. And so having several actually benefits you as the player down the line because you can easily pick something from the not the against archetype tags when you break the mold to add to your collection of tags. So
Okay.
these are like they're not firm or set in rules like really firmly the way that your in archetype tags are, but they're more just like what are the general things that I should be aiming for as like things that eventually I'll break the mold to do, right? And so it's more to kind of help you than it is to like be a game mechanic.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think like the fortune teller would not be generous.
Yeah, exactly. So you can jot down generous as one of your against archetype tags. Yeah. Matt says the alien, not human, should not be sly, right? They're not sly.
I put like social graces.
Hmm.
Yeti definitely splits logs and overalls with no shirt underneath.
Oh my god, yes, Matt, you're the best. I knew that was Matt before I even looked at the damn chat.
Yeah, it's got real Matt energy. That's why I told him, I was like, you're dumb. You missed the whole beginning part of it where you would have shined. Stupid responsibilities. Okay, what are against archetype for a fairy tale child?
Responsible.
Generally, fairy tale, children aren't mean. I guess it depends on which one, but
Maybe like trusting or not? No, because that is an archetype of them.
Yeah,
They
so
are
like
trusting.
suspicious or
Oh yeah,
or yeah,
they're not wise.
they aren't wise. Yeah, that's good.
Go away.
suspicious, wise,
Pyromaniac.
pyromaniac. There you go.
For against, I wrote technologically informed.
Mhm.
Cool. Yeah.
Sociable.
I think I'm going to replace innocent with trusting.
Okay.
I kind of like that a lot. Like that is a huge trope of theirs that they just very much are always like, yeah, sure, I'll trust you.
I'll
We're
eat that
allowed to
candy.
put how many are we allowed to put here?
3 or 4.
Yeah, 3 or 4. There's not like a hard limit or cap or anything. It's more of just kind of like these like work for you for role playing situations in the game.
Mhm.
Okay, so I've got suspicious and wise. I think that's Ryan in the chat pointing out that Hansel and Gretel did push a woman into an
Yeah.
oven, and that is kind of mean. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say
The woman was gonna eat
I
them.
feel like it's not necessarily like a thing that defines the archetype of the fairy tale child, but meanness fits the archetype of the fairy tale child a little
Right,
bit.
because they
yeah.
are sometimes like little greedy shits.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Or like they're bad to their
Trying to
siblings, and that's
survive.
what gets them in trouble in the first place.
Mhm.
Yeah. Although, yeah, I guess with the witch, that is kind of like they were trying to.
I
save
mean,
their own
yeah, she
lives.
was gonna straight up eat them. So like, yeah, push
So-
that bitch in the fire.
Mhm.
Skepticism is not a fairy tale child thing.
Yeah,
think
but
we
I
have
feel
a
like it goes
kind of
with suspicious,
suspicion.
right? like suspicious versus a skeptic. Like,
or
aren't
you could
they-
even say like critical thinker if you wanted to kind of put it as like a
One's good because I could see it like if you wanted to break the mold, like they would learn that through experience.
how about for the alien or the medium / fortune teller? What are some other against archetype tags?
Hmm. The alien would probably not. Well, you already have like socially
Yeah.
inept or
What about cunning?
Would for the medium would honest be an against?
yeah, probably.
That's a good one.
Okay. Alien doesn't blink.
I'm not gonna blink for the whole stream.
That's the whole like break the mold all comes down to like the alien learns to blink naturally.
Sarah's just gonna paint eyes on her eyelids so that it looks like she never blinks.
Like in the Indiana Jones when that girl wrote on her eyelids.
I'm like just looking around for like props.
Maybe for me, patient. I don't know. Like, I feel like there's a lot you could say that Yetis probably aren't, but like not much of it's coming to mind right now.
Yeah, let's think. Yeah, all of them. The medium is never straightforward. Always speaks in vagueties, vagueness.
I like that.
Vagueties, is that a word?
Vagaries?
Mhm.
Vagaries. I agree. Yeah, that's good. True believer could be against archetype, right? Because that's really good, Galway. Yeah, because you are kind of playing the charlatan version of a medium, right? And so true
Who
believer.
accidentally gets things right once in a while.
Sorry.
Vagaries, yes.
So that would actually maybe fit more in the positives because that defines the archetype. So against archetype for that would be
Well, against archetype it can be a positive or a negative trait. It doesn't have to be a good or a bad thing. It's just things that aren't in your archetype, right?
Right.
So it totally is saying like true believer, right? For the charlatan, they're all charlatan versions. Yes. But we are also playing in a world where wizards can exist and there are yetis and aliens. There could be true mediums in this world, but we are actually playing the archetype of the charlatan medium. And so saying that a true believer is kind of against archetype for that, right? I think it makes a lot of sense.
Genuine be a one too?
Genuine,
Against
yeah.
archetype? Genuine?
They're gonna meet an alien and a yeti. They're gonna be a true believer by the end.
Yeah.
Okay, what about the yeti? What are some other against archetypes for the yeti?
Gentle? Maybe?
I think gentle.
Yeah.
It's kind of like big and goofy.
I think
Yeah,
it's like the Yeti, like the Looney Tunes, where he's like, I'm gonna love him and squeeze him and call him George. And he just
And motor skills.
Yeah, lack of fine motor skills.
Sociable, Galway says.
I already wrote sociable. I had sociable, technologically informed, and now I have gentle.
Okay, yeah,
That's
those are all
When
good.
you started to say gentle, you said Jen, and my brain was like, Sam's gonna say genitals, and I don't know why it went there.
Smells like Bigfoot's dick. There's your annual Anchorman reference from me, everyone.
You're still doing it because you're
All
drinking
right.
the coffee like the anchor.
Does everybody have at least a few against archetype
only have
tags at this
2.
point? 2?
I could use a little bit more help.
Fairy tale child. What else is
I have
against archetype
suspicious
for the
and
fairy tale
wise.
child? Did you get responsible on there? I think that one.
Oh,
Feels against
responsible.
type.
Okay.
I like that one. Yeah.
All right. I go for one more if we could think of one. Suspicious, wise, responsible. Observant? Maybe?
Careless.
Maybe.
Well, no. They're never careful. Ugh, sorry.
Wealthy. They are often little village children. They don't tend to be well off.
But they're also often princesses, right?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, different Yeah.
So could be one or the other. Mm.
Sorry. Maybe I'll just put critical thinker. Can we have a double word one or like a hyphenated one?
Yeah, totally. There's no.
Cool.
Yeah, because I've got true believer.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, Sarah, how's your list looking against
Just
archetype
have
tags?
social graces and I just wrote the word savvy.
I like
Just wanted to make
sly.
sure it meant what I thought it meant.
Like savvy means
That would-
knowledgeable about things, right? Doesn't it? Or
Yeah, but
Mhm.
like situationally knowledgeable, right? Able to like handle a lot of situations.
So I think like like being socially adept
right.
and
I like
savvy.
sly. Do you not like sly?
I feel like I don't. I think maybe I don't agree. Because if I'm trying to blend in, like I'm lying inherently.
But you're doing a bad job.
I'm trying.
So maybe
though.
you're not slick, right? You might try to be sly, but you aren't slick, right? You're not.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That is funny.
You're not a used car salesman. You don't have kind of this kind of eloquent
Like-
gift of gab kind of thing.
First appearances say, "Oh, this person is clearly a human," but the moment you talk to them, you're like, "Huh? What?"
Exactly. Yeah. Heather and Sam, your lists, how do they?
I have
submissions or-
3. I don't have 4, but you said 3 is enough.
Yeah,
so
3 is
it's
Yeah, I've
for
got
now.
generous, honest, or genuine. Those I think are
Yeah.
kind of related,
Yeah.
and true believer.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so these tags you just kind of so the in archetype tags, your 3 in archetype tags, those are actually like your areas of expertise that grant you the extra d6 in the game for like rolling mechanics, right? And then the against archetype tags, kind of keep those in your back pocket, use them to guide role play. So like when you're doing things, be like, if your impulse as a player is to be like, oh, I'm going to do this, but you realize it kind of matches one of your against archetype tags, maybe don't do it, right? And then when we get to the idea of breaking the mold, those against archetype tags will be pretty useful for that as well. Because eventually, when you do the break the mold ability, what ultimately ends up happening is you get to take an against archetype tag and move it into your in archetype tag, or like take it on as a full tag that grants you the double d6, right? So eventually, you get to actually claim one of these things as your own. Like you've gone against your archetype, right? But now you're experienced in that thing. Okay.
I might become a true believer.
You might become a true believer. And then you get the tags for true
Slap chop.
believer, which means like so interesting, right? You could actually like really kind of make a thing out of like talking to ghosts and stuff. Okay. With that, now we need to design abilities. So I was already kind of mentioning we had abilities. Now you've kind of got tags and like the general like outline of what your archetype is. There are a bunch of examples in the document of potential abilities. I know Heather and Sam have already written a few as well for characters that they've kind of thought up. So if either of you would like to share one or two of your favorites to kind of set the scene for like what we're talking about, I would love for you to do so. Yeah, let's hear them.
All right. The one that I fleshed out was the crazy cat lady. You know what she's like, wandering around in a bathrobe and slippers with cat treats, catnip, and cat toys falling out of her pockets, sometimes even a cat or two. And one of her abilities is she is prepared for any cat-based emergency. The crazy cat lady can pull any smallish cat-related item out of her pocket or bag, including toys, a few handfuls of litter, collar, food, catnip, string, flea treatment, kitty shampoo, that sort of thing. And then crazy, I'll show you crazy. When the crazy cat lady eats some cat food, she becomes one of the following, her choice, 3 times only during the game. She becomes extra strong, like when Popeye eats spinach. And she's able to roll extra dice when attempting a strength-based action. She becomes extra stealthy and gets like an extra die. or she is able to see in the dark for up to 60 feet for 1d4 hours.
Nice.
And then for a big power, once during the game, this is Rally the Strays. Once during the game, the crazy cat lady is able to call all of the stray cats to her aid. Cats appear in overwhelming numbers, like 100 cats, and interfere with one or more people, as directed by the cat lady, by getting underfoot, knocking things down, climbing people like trees, just generally being cats.
Love it. So good.
Yeah, so my other character that I had previously come up with abilities for, the YouTuber, now would be a little bit good of a time to kind of describe exactly what I was envisioning for them. So they're from the future, and they have like a mech suit that they use to stream themselves as a superhero. So like they're like live streaming to their, fans, like all the stuff that they're doing to fight crime and whatnot, um, making a big show out of it. So the abilities that I had for him, for
You've
this
designed
character,
Diva from Overwatch.
so the mech suit kind of thing, I call it the brawler bot. Um, it has built in like kind of like just mech suit superpowers. So it has a jet pack. It can shoot lasers, and those are like the all the time abilities. Um, its ability that it can use under specific conditions is that it can absorb material around it as long as it's like large and metal, to turn into its big brawler form. Takes 1 minute to assimilate all of the metal into its larger build. And then once per game, the brawler bot can open a portal that summons an indestructible humpback whale.
Okay.
Excellent.
So how many little abilities do we get? So we get one big once per game one, and how many little ones do we get? Sorry.
You had 3 total abilities. And
Okay.
then generally speaking, you kind of have like a low grade one that's like something you can just kind of do more frequently or all the time. Like a mid grade one that has some constraints and things, and then like a higher grade one that's like a once per or has really specific conditions.
Can I don't know if this is weird, but can my low grade one be something like breadcrumbs? And
Mhm.
it's like I can always find my way to things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like just be like, oh hey, yeah, we can just follow these breadcrumbs, and this is how you can get to the shower easily.
I
Or
love
hey, we
that.
can do
Yeah.
this.
I think
Like
that's great. Yeah, exactly.
Make the house so messy.
it's gonna just be covered
We're gonna
with
slip on the breadcrumbs.
We're gonna solve all the problems and then need to clean up all of the breadcrumbs afterwards.
Okay. Good, good.
Think for my smaller medium, it would be something like a healing touch. Because I feel like a lot of times aliens can like just got like healing powers. They're like, let me touch you, now you're healed.
Yeah. Okay.
So my powers kind of came to me all at once. Uh, so I was, as my first ability, this is for Yeti guy. My first ability would be out of sight, out of mind. So that if you're not looking at me after you have looked at me, you forget that you saw me at all. You might have like a vague recollection of something strange that you were just encountering. But if I am ever put into the position where I'm having to communicate with someone, that's my next ability, which I have written chronic doppelganger syndrome. People always assume that I'm someone they know, unless I'm being angry, even though I only can talk in vaguely English sounding grunts.
Great. Steve,
And then
is that you under you really grew out your beard, Steve?
Got a little chest hair happening there too.
yeah.
Last time I saw you, I thought you were clean shaven.
Is that movie like Harry and the Hendersons?
So I have the start of an idea for the super powerful one that I can only do once per game. And the first chart is like, I don't actually know what the power is, but it's if enough people believe in me, I can blank.
Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah, this kind of like
Don't know what that blank is.
urban legend kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have to think on it.
Sam, I saw you. I thought you were wearing clothes.
Very
I'm
good.
sorry, this Yeti is always in jean shorts. So.
Yeah.
Never nude.
Oh,
Never knew.
yep.
Never knew.
Okay.
Can I do like maybe for my medium one something like what big eyes you have, and it's like I can constantly annoy somebody by pointing out their flaws.
Yeah, and I think that like the kind of mediumness of that can be like the it distracts, right, to the point of like other things going on, like you're just so annoying that you kind of take the center stage to the person you're trying to distract, right? To the point where like your allies can be doing other things, kind of like what similar to Galway's idea of like the external monologue, right? Of like it's like it kind of centers attention long enough for
Just be
other
like,
things to go on.
oh wow, what big nose you have. Oh wow, your acne's gotten really bad lately. And just like be pointing out physical flaws and like childish delight. Other people could be doing things around us if they need to.
Yeah, I
so.
love it.
Maybe I
kind
can
of
teleport.
Yeah, maybe you can teleport.
I mean,
I
that's
Okay,
my
Lynn.
my common, my small.
Yeah.
It's just like teleport.
I kind of think so for you, Rachel, I feel like you could do something like narrative plot device help, because like those kids, there's always like some kind of like deus ex machina, or they're just incredibly lucky, like I don't know, and that helps them
That'd
get
be like
out
my
of a
big
sticky
final
situation.
move is like, or like my big one-time move is some kind of deus ex machina
Yeah.
of okay. Yeah, let me think on that. Let me think. I want to think of specific deus ex machinas from fairy tales.
Yeah, Sarah, I like the idea of like the teleport of like especially because like if you're under observation or whatever, that ruins your like attempt to be human, and so you kind of like are like limited by this like desire to not necessarily do it in like super obvious ways unless you're kind of forced into that situation and stuff too. Like that's kind of a fun narrative like tension of the teleport. I also think it's like probably good to like limit, since it is going to be like a kind of low grade ability, to like limit that down to like you can't take things or people, like maybe small things like stuff like clothing and like the things you're carrying. Like maybe if you can hold it in one hand easily, it goes with you, but otherwise like you can't like carry big huge things or other people with you when you teleport, things like that.
Yeah, so it would be Jaeger ex machina there, Galway, because it's always the Jaeger, the hunter, that saves the kids.
Yeah, but fairy tales don't have Jaegers.
Well, I mean, literally they do, but okay.
Do I not understand the meaning of Jaeger?
Jaeger is it's the German word for hunter.
Okay, but I'm not gonna do that, Mr. I speak German. Get off my dick. Okay, so
Heather, do you have an idea?
What about, so Galway said woodsman with an X. What if it's woodsman with an X machina?
That's why hunter, it's a hunter.
Well, I know, but I don't speak German.
Okay, it's fine.
I don't know why I'm yelling at you, Sam, for your ideas.
Did you have any ideas, Heather, for your medium?
Yeah, I'm thinking for at least one of them. So the medium knows how to read people and can tell it like it is. So she can read, like, oh, if somebody's scared of something, she could play up on that and make them more scared of it. Or so somehow she has an ability to influence people's actions using her insightfulness. And that's as far as I had gotten.
Yeah, so kind of like something like knowing the right thing to say at the right moment to get what you want, right? Like there's a certain element of like being able to kind of look at someone and be like, if I say this, it's going to push the right button to get what I want out of the situation, right?
Yeah, kind of like clairvoyance.
Mm-hmm. Or I
Mhm.
even like I like the idea of like the play on the words of pushing buttons, because like there's like the under the table buttons for like making the table shake and like the noises and
Yeah.
stuff. So like pushing buttons could be, like a just like being able to kind of read the emotions and kind of like
Mhm.
feeling in the room to like say the right kind of insightful thing to get some kind of desired outcome.
Mhm. And then it's thinking, okay, so how does that then fit with a mechanic?
Well, I mean, it can just be a role playing thing of like if like you just kind of get to do that, right? You're invoking your
Okay.
ability to get what you want here. And then like we might limit that down to like you can do this in certain circumstances or with, or it fails against like NPCs who are like super hostile towards you or, like things like
Okay.
that, right? So
Right.
but that is
Okay.
essentially like it's just
That
something
makes
you can
sense.
kind of do if you evoke like I'm using my right. So it's not something you can always do. It's not like a passive
Right.
ongoing ability, but it is something you can say like I'm going to go ahead and do the push buttons ability to get what I want from this interaction.
Okay. So that could be like the medium level ability
Yeah, and we might want to kind of
then.
constrain like what does that mean, like how frequently and in what circumstances can you use it, like we might
Right.
put like a limit of like 3 times per the game, right? So that you don't just get to kind of always get what you want from everyone.
Right. Okay. I like that.
I could see like, I mean, maybe it's the obvious answer, but like, your super version would be to like literally summon a ghost,
Mhm. I was thinking that I would get like one prediction that would turn out to be accurate.
Oh, that's good. Like a like true prophecy, right? Like it's like,
Yeah.
oops, I did actually prophesy this and it happened.
Right.
So you can kind of like
Mm.
and like I like the idea too. Like I mean, I think one of the examples that I put in here, I'm trying to remember which one it is. The Space Cowboy. The example ability I have for the Space Cowboy, I called it reminds me of the war. It says the Space Cowboy has seen some shit when facing a dire situation. The Space Cowboy can recount how they've seen this situation before, how they solved it in the past, and say that they've trained their entire team for this exact scenario just in case. Finally, all that hypervigilant planning is paying off, and then all allies in this case would gain a temporary bonus to actions related to ending or escaping a dangerous situation. So, like, we could do the same thing of you being like, you don't have to know what your prophecy was ahead of time, but like once in the game, you get to say like, oh my God, I had a dream about this, right? And then say how
Mhm.
the outcome is,
Mhm.
right, of like this kind of thing that's about to happen.
Right. I like it. Okay. Um, yeah, I love it.
Sarah, you got anything going? Anything cooking for your alien?
I don't know what, like, I feel pressured. Like, I feel like it's hard to think of something that would be like important, so like the smaller ones is like, okay, these, but like, because we're gonna have a week in between.
Yeah, take some time.
Be
Prefer.
like once per game, you can like summon some massive alien power, like either, creating a giant golem out of babies, just as an example, or,
Or
uh
a spaceship
Or
with
just
an
right,
like
army of
like
aliens.
contact
kind
the
of like,
mothership, right, and get information from them,
yeah, some kind of big alien thing that like once per game you can do this and nobody is suspicious of it. Like you
It's
can
a good
do
one.
this big thing and everybody's just kind of like, wow, that's crazy.
I also like, I can't help but extrapolate to like the setting, right? So I like the idea of like calling the mothership for information, but it's like, where's the remote?
I'm gonna need you to
What
track
about
down this small object. It's about 2 inches wide, 10 inches long.
what about everyone's looking the other way? So once per game, it can be that everyone is somehow looking the other way while you have some big like alien freak out or alien thing that happens. Like, like you like break out of your skin or like start bleeding, green or something happens and
Yeah.
like you call on this thing and everybody is just like there,
And it's
just
and
like
that and you're only able to do whatever it is in your true alien form. And so you can save the day,
Mm.
but nobody can be looking for it. So
I just keep thinking about that, like the Invader Zim episodes or something, where Dib is watching Zim and he does something. And he's like, "Does everybody see that?" And you just look, and everybody else is just like looking at literally nothing. It's just like, I don't know. I like that.
I like that. I like an idea of something that's like a big impact, but like it's constrained by like nobody can be watching, or like you can only use it that one time, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Still
else?
haven't. I still don't have like the actual ability, but I just have the condition. I don't know.
What?
For if enough people believe,
yeah.
I can blank. And I don't want it to just be something open-ended. I want it to be something specific.
Right.
What do Yetis want? They want to be left alone. They want to like have their territory protected. They want to I mean like they're like
Eat, survive.
yeah, exactly. They're kind of driven by like survival things, so like I can make them forget. um like given like the power of belief or whatever, what would a Yeti stereotype archetype do? That's tough.
I also thought that, like, what Matt put in the chat of just like
Yeti
trying
wants
to find a
hang.
mate.
I was literally thinking, like it allows me to summon other Yetis, but that's kind of, I don't know.
It could be something like I mean, I don't know, like if it may not necessarily fit the if enough people believe exactly, but like the idea of like, you know, banish everyone Galway says. Um
That might break the game.
yeah. um there could be like a limited use of that of like banish people, but like in the sense of like remove like temporarily remove people, right? Like you get a break rather than like full banishing. If enough people believe I can banish everyone, but like the mechanic of it is um like if it's this kind of high intense fast action, everybody's dying, you can banish everyone and take a second to like patch up and like make sure everybody's okay and like do those kinds of like things that could, you know, kind of work as like a really kind of critical moment type mechanic. And then like time would resume where people would come back to continue whatever was going on.
I might need to just marinate in this some more.
Yeah. This is definitely like these abilities like that sometimes they come real fast and sometimes they don't. And like you know, the idea is to kind of think like when I see this character type in media, what do I see it doing and what can I kind of evoke from it? And so I think, you know, just kind of going back to that and one of the reasons why like I think it is kind of important to like start within like an archetype that you kind of flesh out is that you kind of get these like you can tap into the tropes that are typically associated with that archetype pretty well to develop and design. But it is kind of good to know like also watching you all design like that it could be a lot of that it could take more time.
Maybe something like I don't mean to be feeding too much into this, but like I like the idea of like if enough people believe, then it gives me the power to create more offspring, and so like a storm rolls in and a mating ritual begins.
Yetis not want people to believe in them?
I don't
Don't
know.
they want to be hidden? Like I thought that the cryptids
Yeah, like
and
kind
those
of
kinds
left
of things,
alone
like,
and like not seen. But I
like
think
if
that
enough people believe, then he'll disappear and not exist anymore,
like
or we'll
hunted,
run,
yeah.
like yeah, like that feels more like Yeah, it'll be
Yeah,
fun
I
to-
guess
But
if enough
maybe
people
he only-
believe, I need to have something that reacts to, oh shit, too many people believe in me.
Right, because he's not Tinkerbell.
This needs to happen.
Like, if he's believed in, that's bad.
Yeah. It's also possible. I mean, like maybe if enough people believe, like, you know, save that one in your back pocket for when you play a Tinkerbell archetype and, you know, a different kind of like approach on the high one or the most kind of what's the word, high level ability.
And you could turn it into something more like getting them on your side. So if you, by interacting with people, end up making friends, they can help hide you or something. Not sure where I was going with that.
When I was thinking about the mating ritual, I was thinking about in like Viva Pinata, how there's like the dance. Pinatas procreate.
I don't know if opinion.
Oh my god, that is one of the 2 games for Xbox 360 that I had every single achievement for.
Oh.
The other one was the original Left 4 Dead.
Nice.
I do like that idea that if enough people believe in me, something worse shows up.
To make
Oh,
yeah, to
there you go.
distract.
To
That is
distract.
kind of good. That is good. Oh yeah.
Because then we forget about you.
Yeah, because then you're not the focus.
Okay,
You're not
so
the
if
center of
enough people
attention.
believe, you can summon another cryptid.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yes, something else
And
that
it could be
like
something that fits in the situation, you know? So if you're in near water, you could summon the Loch Ness Monster, or
Yeah, that was
if
the
you're near
example in chat
a
from
bridge,
Adam.
you could summon Mothman. Here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really like that. That's really cute.
I like that too.
yeah, I like yeah. I can summon a different cryptid.
Okay. Does everyone have kind of roughly 3 abilities?
I still don't have a medium one.
Or
Or a
a
low
medium
level
one.
one. Sorry.
But tis.
You don't have a low level one?
Yeah. What's rattling around in my head is something like, because I'd like the medium to maybe be right sometimes, but accidentally, and not necessarily in any big way that's gonna change things.
So just can stumble on the correct answer.
Yeah. So
I mean, I'm wondering if like okay, if you're a medium, what is something that's just kind of like background noise to you? Maybe it's like everyone's auras, so you could see, oh, this is a good-natured person, blah blah blah. This is someone that I shouldn't interface with. I don't know.
It could also be like you know, relatively powerful, similar to what Sam's talking about, but we add the caveat of like it's only a sometimes thing and you don't get to know if you're, you know, so like you roll kind of like, or I roll privately,
you roll.
And see like if you know, and then tell you the reading, right? So it could be like read somebody or read the situation, right? Or you know, however you kind of want to cleverly name it, but then the mechanic is like you know, you have I don't know, like I roll on a D100 and we decide what chance, like how often is your person like accidentally right on, you know, these kind of not based in intuition or insight, but kind of true like spiritual reading abilities. Like how often are they? Is it 30%? And then I roll, and if I'm under 30, then I tell you something true, and if I'm over 30, then I tell you something false, and it's all just you just say whatever it is, right?
Yeah,
or you
and
just
I just believe it because you
Yeah.
know this is what's coming to me.
Yeah. So like you could do it fairly often, but then it's also just like
but it's not always
it's
gonna be
faulty, right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I like that, especially if I wouldn't know whether or not it was good information. It's just what I'm
Yep.
what I'm saying.
It's what you got. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, well,
Right.
we're at 9:30, which is usually where we end for Spire, and I want to let people go and kind of maintain that. And I think we've kind of got everything we need to be able to just play next week, more or less. So over the course of the week, y'all feel free to look over, fine tune, rewrite abilities, talk to each other in the chat, do whatever you want to do to kind of like get your abilities, but just send them to me. before, like a couple days before, so that if I need to put limits or workshop them with you to make sure that they kind of fit, that I have the chance to do that. That would be great. And chat, it was so much fun getting your suggestions and ideas. I have everything written down. I'm going to save it. I'm going to use it. And like I said, you can use the link that is both in our Discord. I put it in the creations channel. Because this is a creation, I guess. So it's in the creations channel, but it's also in the Twitch chat. If you just use, I think Galway made it !, anything but. And you can check out the rules, and everybody is invited to, if you see something or you want to kind of give some feedback or ideas that you think could like improve or streamline or otherwise make the,
Yes, Matt, yes.
Yes, Mothman OkCupid is very good.
I wasn't
auto-
allowed to write Yeti
Yeah.
OkCupid, and then I also tried to write word DOT space COM, like on 2 different things, but it just was
fully
like
it auto-modded deleted your shit.
hates me, but Mothman OkCupid is allowed. It's fine.
It's because your username is Flesh Husk. You're very sus.
They don't know me.
All right. Yeah, so I think we're done for the night. Just getting the plans, and like I said, send me all of the stuff we talked about or put it into your Roll20 character sheet so that I can read it. Wherever you want to store it is fine. Players and folks in the chat, this was great fun. Thank you for being along with the ride on our playtest session 0. And throwing your own ideas out there. And I'm also hoping to playtest this again. So if you're interested in playing it, we can do, the same game, but all new players and get a whole other, set of kind of feedback and ideas based on how other people would play it. So I would love that. Okay. I think that's everything from me. Don't forget to join our Discord and tune in tomorrow at 7/9 Eastern for some Tier Moon Trial
Some crazy
and
cyberpunk.
all those things.
Thanks,
End it.
Elyse.
I
End
am
it,
not a
Elyse.
robot. Yeah. I think we're done, right? Say good night, chat.
Good night, chat.
Good night,
Night,
chat.
chat.
Bye, chat.